New footage has surfaced showing Young Thug apparently attacking YSL Woody, and the aftermath is nothing short of brutal.
Don't move him! Don't move!
This comes right after Thug's explosive jail call leaked. And with the long history of tension between him and Woody, fans are connecting the dots. Could this be the moment that sends Thug back behind bars? Let me break it all down. The attack. New footage has surfaced that shook Atlanta hip-hop to its core. A bloody, unconscious YSL Woody lying sprawled on the pavement. His body unresponsive, his face smashed, and the crowd around him whispering one terrifying question. Is he dead? For days, clips of a September 1st, 2025 incident circulated online, showing Kenneth YSL Woody Copeland being worked on by paramedics after what was described as a horrific dirt bike crash. His limp body, neck braced, blood pooling from fresh cuts. It looked more like the aftermath of a street hit than a traffic accident. And that's exactly why the internet immediately exploded, because this wasn't just anybody lying there. This was the man who for years has been branded the snitch that took down Young Thug in the YSL RICO trial. And when the images spread, fans started asking, was this really an accident, or was it Thug finally getting his revenge? Even commentators in the viral breakdown streams framed it that way. One voice reacting live to the clip claimed Woody looked lifeless until paramedics injected him back to consciousness, speculating if it was a hit and run designed to silence him for good. But here's where the story twisted. Hours later, Woody himself surfaced on social media, alive, neck braced, battered, but talking, calling out the rumors of his death as lies. In his words, God had spared him another chance.
They do the work of the Lord. No matter what goes on, pray, ask for forgiveness. God will come through and protect you at all costs, even in the time of pain.
The same man whom many accused of betraying his big brother Thug was suddenly portraying himself as the survivor, the chosen one, even thanking prayer for pulling him through. Then the Fox 5 interview a few days later complicated the picture. Sitting stiffly, his face stitched, neck sore, Woody admitted he didn't even remember climbing on the dirt bike. One moment he was riding, the next he woke up in a hospital bed, shocked to still be alive.
Yeah, they say I got like a cracked bone, but I got something sticking on my shoulder and it hurting. A lot of my head had like a lot of soft spots and cuts on it. They gave me stitches. My leg right here, it bust open and it's kind of numb on this side. And my neck right here, my back of my shoulder up here, and my chest, it feel like somebody's standing on it.
Ooh, like constantly?
He then went on to talk about how he was saved by divine.
It's a blessing. People don't understand. Not everybody get another chance. And I keep getting them. I done got so many of them.
That survival instantly reignited a whole other conversation. If Woody's alive, then what happens next in his war of words with Young Thug? Because just days before the crash, Woody had gone head-to-head with Thug in one of the ugliest rounds of their public feud yet. It started with Young Thug's latest podcast interview, where he accused Woody of being the original domino that tipped into the YSL RICO case. Thug said Woody's so-called sucker move of stealing jewelry from Big Nut's car back in 2015 sparked the beef with YFN Lucci's camp, which later escalated into shootings, indictments, and the state of Georgia putting YSL on trial.
Woody broke a nut car and stole his jewelry. And I'm saying all this because it's all...
But Woody wasn't having it. Even while recovering, he went on Instagram to fire back directly. He said, accountability at Thugger1. Just take accountability. We love you, brah, and we with you, but take accountability. That wasn't just a rant. That was Woody essentially telling the world, don't paint me as the villain. This case, this blood feud, the street war, it wasn't on me. It was BC before Copeland. In his mind, Thug's the one rewriting history. And the audacity of Woody talking accountability while his own courtroom testimony from 2024 is still fresh in people's minds. That made it even more explosive. Viewers remembered the viral interrogation tapes where Woody admitted to throwing Thug's name around to get the heat off himself. They remembered the courtroom drama about whether YSL was a gang or a record label.
I was a 30 Deep gang member. You can't say I was a YSL gang member. YSL was never considered a gang. Y'all making it again.
They remembered the memes, the endless rat commentary, the Charleston White rants calling him illiterate and fake. He even used the harder on him.
My emotions just making me a fool. So God takes special care of old people, fools, children, and retarded people like Woody. God takes special care of these kind of people.
So when Woody told Thug, "I risked my life to protect y'all," y'all know it. It was like pouring gasoline on a fire. Some fans clapped for his honesty. Others mocked it as delusion. And meanwhile, clips of his unconscious body on Peter Street gave the feud a chilling new edge. If Thug's people really wanted revenge, this was how it would look. But let's not get it twisted. This beef didn't just appear out of nowhere in September 2025. The foundation for it was laid years ago inside the Fulton County courtroom, where Woody went from being a background YSL associate to the star witness that prosecutors leaned on to paint Thug as a gang leader. Back in 2024, Woody made headlines admitting under oath that he lied to detectives to protect himself, even saying it was easy for me to throw blame on him. Thug.
I ain't never see somebody shooting at us. But if the police question me, I'm trying to convince them that I know what I'm talking about. So it's easy to say shell kill. It's easy to put people's name with crime that, because if he did, why y'all don't lock him up? If I say I seen him do it, why y'all don't lock him up and charge him for it?
He confessed. Prosecutors pressured him into pinning crimes on Thug. The courtroom watched as he tried to address Thug directly, causing laughter and chaos. It was the type of spectacle that etched his face into hip-hop history. And now, fast forward to 2025. Every time a new leak drops, whether it's Thug's jail calls or Woody's dirt-stained face on Instagram Live, all of that history gets dragged back up. Fans don't see a dirt bike accident. They see karma. They don't hear Woody's hospital bed apologies. They hear the voice of the rat that sold out his family, which is exactly why this week's footage went viral. It wasn't just about a man almost dying. It was about a feud too deep, too bloody, too personal to ever really end. And the most shocking part, the week Woody almost lost his life, he was also doubling down on his message. That Thug needs to stop pointing fingers and start owning up. For Woody, surviving the crash was divine proof that he was still standing, still telling his truth, and still unafraid to clap back. But for Thug's camp, it looked like yet another betrayal from a man they say started the domino effect that nearly destroyed YSL. That's the setup. A bloodied Woody fighting to live, the internet screaming revenge hit, and two former brothers now locked in a war of narratives about who really destroyed YSL. And the most shocking revelations comes in the next part. The leaks that changed everything for young Thug. Just when people thought the Woody crash was the week's headline, another bombshell dropped. Out of nowhere, old skeletons and fresh dirt started flooding the timeline. Interrogation tapes, jail calls, audio snippets that were never supposed to see daylight. And together, they painted a picture of young Thug, not as the bulletproof street general he's portrayed himself to be, but as a man cornered, conflicted, and in the eyes of some fans, exposed. The timeline unfolded like a slow-motion train wreck. It started in late August 2025 when
I understood these rights. At this time, I am willing to answer questions without a lawyer present.
that decision set the stage for what fans now see as his biggest mistake. In the tape, Thug tried to distance himself from Pee Wee Roscoe, the man convicted of firing at Wayne's bus. He told detectives he was shocked by the news, even suggesting Roscoe and Wayne were friends. To some, it looked like he was trying to help his guy by muddying the waters. To others, it was confirmation that Thug was willing to give police exactly what they wanted.
You know what happened in Cobb County, right, with Pee Wee and all that crap?
Oh, Roscoe.
Yeah, Roscoe.
Oh, yeah, with that little Wayne shit.
Yeah.
And that's where the accusations of hypocrisy began. How could Thug spend years branding Gunner a snitch when he himself was caught chatting with detectives without counsel? It was a question fans, rivals, and bloggers pounced on instantly. Then came the jail call leaks. By early September, multiple audios hit social media allegedly recorded while Thug was awaiting his RICO trial. In these calls, the mask slipped. Thug wasn't just venting. He was naming names, questioning loyalties, and airing grievances that cut right into Atlanta's hip-hop fabric. In one call, he flat out accused Ganana of giving prosecutors the ammunition they needed, saying Gunner's plea turned YSL into a gang in the jury's eyes. Crime.
Who the you talking about? You know YSL members on this case that committed crimes in furtherance of the game. You just made it a fucking RICO case. You just made it a case.
In another, he compared Gucci Mane to being soft after jail for letting old grudges go. In an intense exchange with 21 Savage, Thug admitted Gunner's decision broke his heart, even as Savage reminded him that Thug himself told his own brother to do the exact same thing to avoid time. There are also digs about chart games. Thug claiming certain artists manipulated numbers to block his albums, as well as broader shots at industry figures he felt abandoned him when the trial heat got hottest for fans. It was jaw-dropping, not because rappers talk reckless on the phone. Everybody knows that, but because the call stripped away the mystique. Thug, the supposed street messiah, sounded messy, petty, and hypocritical, and the fallout was immediate. GQ summed it up bluntly. The leaks didn't just tarnish Thug's image, they reframed the entire post-trial narrative. Was he really a martyr of the system, or was he another player who bent rules when it suited him, then lashed out when others did the same? Thug's response came just as fast. On Instagram and X, he fired back with posts under the banner of Rat, where, pushing the idea that nothing in those clips proved betrayal. To his core fans, it was vintage Thug, defiant, sharp, refusing to let anyone else define his code. But prosecutors weren't as forgiving. According to 9XTC, the DA's office formally objected to the interrogation video being played in court, fearing it would taint jurors and complicate appeals. That move only added more suspicion. If the trial, why was it suddenly blowing up online now? And this is why the leaks matter so much in the YSL story, because they didn't just air dirty laundry. They reopened every scar. They deepened the rift with Gunner, who despite moving on musically is now cemented in fan minds as Thug's Judas. They fueled new industry grudges, reviving old beefs with Gucci, Mane, Wayne, and others. They fractured public opinion, with one half of hip-hop seeing Thug as a fallen king unfairly dragged, and the other half seeing him as a hypocrite who played both sides. As GQ noted, these audios are now the lens through which fans are reinterpreting the entire YSL saga. It's no longer just about who snitched in court. It's about who lived by the code when the lights were off and the phone line was tapped. And the ugliest part, with every new leak, the pressure builds not just on Thug, but on Woody. Because if Thug is being painted as a hypocrite, Woody is being painted as the man who forced him into this corner. The interrogation tape was already messy enough, but it was the jail call leaks that blew the roof off. These weren't polished statements. They were raw, scratchy audios. The kind of conversations rappers assume will never leak. Thug was calling from behind bars, speaking to family, allies, and friends like 21 Savage. And the world wasn't supposed to hear any of it. Yet, here was on blogs, X feeds, and YouTube breakdowns, turning into headline fuel for outlets like Yahoo and 9XTC. And what they revealed went far beyond gossip. They reshaped how fans thought about YSL, about loyalty, and about Thug himself. The most emotional exchange came in a call with 21 Savage. Thug poured his frustration out about Ganana, saying
YSL is a gang, and he know people in this on this trial who committed crimes in furtherance of the gang.
But Savage pushed back hard. He reminded Thug that he had told his own blood brother, Unfun, to take a plea deal that required admitting YSL was a criminal enterprise, and the contradiction cut like a knife. How could Thug rage at Gunner for doing what he had told his brother to do? It was a reminder that in this game, even the strongest claims of loyalty were flexible depending on who was benefiting.
I don't feel like Shawty did what he did with the intention of hurting you. You feel what I'm saying? I don't really get that vibe from him. I feel like he just green. That's just my opinion.
I just look at it. God damn sure was thinking about that one day. Like, I ain't finna say nothing about this. Yeah, woo, 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 woo. I might just be like, man, them folks did what they had to do. But I'm like, the hell, that's gonna change. Because I feel like it's really over with for your rap.
For fans, that hypocrisy became the headline. GQ wrote that the leaks tore apart the myth of young Thug as a code-driven general, replacing it with a portrait of a man hurt, conflicted, and inconsistent. Then there were the other names Thug dragged into the mud. He suggested Gucci Mane had gone soft after prison, mocking him for letting old beefs die. It wasn't just shave. It was a shot at one of Atlanta's elder statesmen, a man who had once mentored Thug. To call Gucci soft was to break a sacred bond in Atlanta rap. Elsewhere in the calls, Thug accused industry rivals of playing dirty with chart placements, hinting that some artists manipulated streaming numbers to edge him out of the top spots. He didn't say names in the clips that surfaced, but fans quickly filled in the blanks, speculating on everyone from Drake to Lil Baby. And tucked between the barbs were broader rants about loyalty. Thug lamented that too many artists only ride for you when things are good, then vanish when the walls close in. He sounded bitter, paranoid, even obsessed with who had turned their back while he sat in Fulton County. On The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne and DJ Envy played clips of the calls, shaking their heads at the contradictions. Charlemagne noted how 21 Savage sounded more mature than Thug, telling him to let it go and move on. Advice Thug clearly wasn't ready to hear.
Blues Bombs with 21 Savage. The first time I ever had a conversation with 21 was here on The Breakfast Club, and if you go back and watch that interview from 9 years ago, I told him after talking to him that he had his head on right. You can tell he was smarter than most, and after listening to numerous calls between him and Thug this weekend, I still stand.
Blogs like 9XTC hammered the point that the DA's office had fought to keep the interrogation tape out of court. If prosecutors didn't want it played for jurors, but it's suddenly leaked now, what did that say about the power struggle behind the scenes and fans online split into camps? Some rallied behind Thug, posting ratware under every post, insisting the leak showed nothing criminal, just venting. Others roasted him as the ultimate hypocrite, a man who weaponized the snitch label against Ganana while his own voice sat on tape, cooperating with cops years earlier. The damage wasn't just reputational, it was structural for Guna. The leaks ironically boosted him. He was already selling out shows and hosting Run Club meetups. Now with Thug sounding bitter and hypocritical, Gunner looked like the one who had moved on, embraced freedom, and focused on music. For Thug's peers, it deepened rifts, calling Gucci Mane soft, taking shots at unnamed artists for chart manipulation. That's how bridges get burned for good. For YSL's legacy, it rewrote history. No longer was the narrative simply Thug was railroaded by prosecutors. Now as Thug had his own hands dirty, his own contradictions, his own words to blame. At this point, these leaks serve as a turning point in how young Thug's story. Instead of a tragic hero, he was now seen as a messy, wounded figure, one who had played the same game of survival and spin as everyone else. Young Thug against the world. If the crash footage showed Woody's body on the pavement and the leaks revealed Thug's contradictions, then part 3 is where the floodgates open. Everybody Thug has burned bridges with, dragged in his calls, or turned into collateral damage. Because the truth is, when those audios spilled out, it didn't just expose what Thug said about Gunner. It showed the breadth of his frustration. Entire swaths of Atlanta, entire corners of hip-hop suddenly caught in his crossfire. But Gunner wasn't the only one Thug took aim.